Hey, welcome to another exciting adventure with the Cranky Geeks. I'm your host, John C. Dvorak, and every week we have a Crankfest for your entertainment pleasure. And this week's no exception. Let's start by introducing today's guests, beginning with Sebastian Rupley. He's over here, with the same jacket I'm wearing. Co-Crank editorial director of PCMagcast.com. What's on the agenda for PC Magcast this week?
We just did a green technology webcast yesterday. It's free at PCMagcast.com.
I would think free would be the way to go. Dave Mathews over across from me is an inventor now, apparently.
I've always been an inventor.
And he's also now a tech journalist. What happened to the little project?
We're still working on that, but I just did a story on for PC Magazine. So anything for $1, John. That's what I'll do.
Apparently.
AFAB.
And finally, Bill Schmelzer over here. He's the tech analyst for Ziff Davis Media, and actually an IT professional. He knows more than anything.
He knows more than any of us.
He knows more than any of us about IT.
We're fake information technology, unprofessionals.
But we know about netbooks. Microsoft must move faster in the phones, according to articles being written as we speak. Microphone's been a leader in smartphones for years.
Microsoft.
Since Microsoft, I'm sorry, I said microphone. Wait a minute, but I was befuddled by the sentence. Microsoft's been a leader in smartphones for years. You mean the moribund market of smartphones where nobody bought any smartphones and nobody thought it was ever going to go anywhere because Microsoft was the leader, that kind of leader?
Actually, on last week's episode, we went off on Windows Mobile, and then all the Windows Mobile people wrote in and said what a hot-selling platform it is. So
yeah? You know, they're already
disagree.
bailing out on 6.5 and going to 7. That was today's news, by the way. Anyway, according to this quote, Microsoft doesn't have a chance if they can't actually get software to market, according to Sasha Sagan, who happens to be one of our writers at PC Magazine.
Very knowledgeable writer.
He says the company's software updates take too long to arrive, and Microsoft's facing increased competition, from Apple, RIM. And they're not even a player in this game.
Yeah, I know. I think actually in the long term we're going to see Android do better than a lot of people think, because the open source community will get behind it, and you'll see a lot of app development for it, and probably even some money from Google behind it.
The problem with the Android, though, is there's not a lot of hardware, and at CES I was really expecting more than just one device, right? It was only the HTC G1.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
There was a tablet, right?
That is a strange thing. Why are there not more Android phones? There's been basically one.
And then what happened at Mobile World Congress? No Motorola Android, no LG Android. Again, it was absent at the #1 show for mobile devices. So I think Android is really, I love to back up a minute that the Danger guys are working on Android, because I love the Sidekick. When it first came out, it was a cool smartphone. But without hardware, forget about it. And Microsoft, to their credit, had tons of different hardware providers, right? The Dash, the Palms, etc. So I think BlackBerry is, they're the winner here.
Oh,
BlackBerry.
Talking about coming out of left field with that one.
Not the iPhone. The iPhone is a great consumption device, right? We've talked about this. All the apps are worthless on the iPhone. There's not a good app.
What do you use?
The BlackBerry.
Oh, you did? I thought you had an iPhone.
Well, I have both, but the BlackBerry is what I use day to day, and the iPhone is what I use when I go to Europe, or I want to consume, or listen to music, or play with those stupid apps that are worthless.
The new Palm is coming.
The Pre.
Are we all waiting for that?
Yeah, we are. I'm excited about the Pre, but I think it's bitten off a lot.
I'm looking for my phone. It's a problem with my phone is it's so light.
Oh, you're 71?
Yeah, it's like it just gets lost in your pockets.
So John's phone has this terrible keyboard that the A and Z are stacked. Yeah. How like the Shift key should be under the A, but the Z key is. So whenever I try to type on that, forget about it. It was a fail.
This is a great phone.
I don't know. Symbian, come on.
No, Symbian I don't like, but this phone I do. Look at it.
The phone's nice.
It's very thin.
You have big hands too.
It's svelte.
And I got big hands.
I'll stick with my BlackBerry.
So I'm agreeing with Sebastian for once. I think it's going to be the iPhone and the G phone as the two winners long term.
But for open source will push it.
But for now, but open source always takes a long time. I mean, look how long it took for the Mozilla browser to even hit the market after they.
But look how well it's done. I mean, it's incredible.
It took a while.
It's all because of the people who do the extensions.
By the way, there's a story going around that Google now may be thinking about moving the Android operating system up scale to a netbook.
To a netbook. Now that would be really cool. And you think about, there's a lot of these little mini operating systems like Splashtop and HP and Asus and Acer. They're licensing this technology to be a quick boot. So you keep Windows underneath and then the Splashtop OS on top. So you can get into Skype, what else? The browser, of course, a handful of different utilities, but it boots up
Plus,
in a few seconds.
Slashtop is Linux based, so it could
That's
be a
right.
good fit with Android, which is also Linux based.
It's true.
I have one of those actually. I have a machine that was built for me, custom made from endpcnoise.com, a free plug. They're not paying me anything. But anyway, they make these super silent machines, and I got a Splash, it just boots to something.
Do you ever use it?
Yeah, I do use it because sometimes the problem where you find it useful, and it's not that it happens all the time, but say you're going somewhere and I turn my machines off. I don't leave them on all
Because you're
night.
green?
It's yes, because I'm green. That's the reason.
Sleep mode's there for a reason. It works well.
So I turn it off, and sometimes I turn the machine because I'm going to go up north for a few days. I'm not going to put it on sleep mode, so I just turn it off.
Yep.
And so then I forgot to check something, so I can just boot this thing, boom, go to the browser and get something, then turn it off again.
It's a good idea. They promised Instant On a long time ago and really never
It's
materialized.
overdue.
My favorite was Microsoft promised Instant On, and Vista took 4 times longer than XP
I
to
know,
boot.
ridiculous.
so much for that.
Well,
So-
boot's quicker. Just there's more stuff going on after you log in.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they should have some kind of tiered boot, so you can actually use the machine while it's putting all this other crap in. Anyway, so if Google does an operating system, which would be a Linux-based thing, could you think they could actually move in? You think they could do what Ubuntu's been trying to do, which is to get some attention? I mean, with their huge amount of resources, could they actually impinge on Microsoft as a desktop Linux? Is it possible?
Well, the problem with Ubuntu is installing applications is still clumsy, right? You still have to go into this add remove programs and key in addresses for different scripts to run, to install. And what's nice about what Google's done with their apps is they've created little launchers, programs that run and monitor the versions of software, both on your PC. Even their app for the BlackBerry does this, and it'll suggest that you upgrade. And I think that's really crucial. This whole thing with Windows is it kind of coddles you along, and it allows you to the wizards and these type of things that the Linux systems haven't had. So if Google does that, I think they'll have a hit.
I think they will too. Talking about a hit, we're going to take a break. See if we can hit the camera. No.
Good Clean Tech promises to report on the latest eco-friendly developments. That way, we'll always be able to remember moments like these. Visit goodcleantech.com, the independent guide to eco-technology.
I'm Danica Patrick, IndyCar driver and GoDaddy girl. I know a little bit about speed, so take it from me. If you want a fast way to make a name for yourself on the internet, GoDaddy has everything you need. GoDaddy got me online fast, and they can do the same for you. .com names as low as $1.99. When you have something to say it at GoDaddy.com.
Hey, welcome back to Cranky Geeks. With regard to that GoDaddy offer or ad you just saw, domain names from GoDaddy.com are up to 70% less than the competition. Plus, as a Cranky Geeks viewer, if you type in the word crank, C-R-A-N-K, into the code word thing box, when you check out, you'll save an additional 10%. Some restrictions apply. See the site for details. Okay, this is an interesting topic. Computing still sucks is the name of the topic. And let me quote here. Computing still sucks. It's too damned hard and confusing for the vast majority of people, writes Lance Ulanoff, who apparently just does nothing but bellyache. A recent study from the Pew Internet Project agrees. Just 70% of the Pew study respondents were confident that they were on the right track to solve their tech problems. Just 70%, that's a huge number. 40% were confused by the information that was supposed to help them. Well, that's because people can't write documentation. I think that, don't you think this topic is, in today's day and age, computing doesn't suck anymore?
I bet Bill runs into people all the time who have can't solve the most simple problems.
It really depends on how much effort you want to put into it. Some people are really good at sort of feeling something out and getting sort of going in the right direction. Some people just give up way too soon. It can be challenging. There's so much variables in every machine and every piece of software.
How much do people want to use these machines for nowadays? I mean, it seems to me most people, they get a machine, they load Microsoft Office, the thing usually loads pretty nicely, and then they do Word, and maybe they run a spreadsheet, and then they get a browser, which is sometimes the Microsoft one or whatever, and that's it. What else do you need a machine for?
Email, browsing, and looking at pictures.
Porn.
You're gonna stick with what
music,
you're gonna go with.
And iTunes. But I get lots of questions about iTunes.
Well,
and
iTunes is a
iPod.
disaster. I mean, it's not intuitive. When you first try to, my library, how do I burn a disk? I mean, there's all these. I think that iTunes is one of the poorest programs in terms of user interface and ease of use ever.
Well, what takes a long time to learn in iTunes is how to share content between various iPods and people and all that, because they're so strict about the sharing.
It's a lot of trial and error sometimes.
And when you rip the media, it puts it in their own hierarchical file structure, which means trying to get the music backed up and out of iTunes is difficult. There's a handful of people that have written guides just on that process alone, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, the For Dummies books are good for a lot of people.
So do we think computing still sucks, or is Lance Ulanoff just trying to get readers?
Computing rocks. It's just that you have to be willing to put a little effort into it sometimes.
What do you say?
I say Windows still sucks. I'd like to see a much better version of Windows, one that doesn't take so long to boot up, one that doesn't slow down dependably.
Well, he says it's too damned hard and confusing for the vast majority of people. I don't know what he's talking about. People live in New Jersey?
No, a lot of people just turn on their machines every day doing what they need to do.
The registry in Windows is the worst abysmal failure, bar none, in the computing industry.
I agree with that.
And I've had systems that would load Finder but wouldn't load the browser, and just all these errors come back to corrupt entries in the registry, and that's a pain in the ass.
Microsoft asks, talking about fail, Microsoft asked the laid-off employees to refund overpaid severance. Apparently, somebody at Microsoft, I guess they're using an old Intel chip with bad math.
Yeah.
And so they paid people too much money and for severance, and then they demanded the money back.
Right.
And
Too late.
Yeah, I know. Who's going to send the money back? Yeah. Oh, okay. No one's going to send the money back.
It was a handful of people anyway. It was only $5,000 at the max, and eventually they ended up saying that, go ahead and keep the money. So
they finally canceled the request after making a boneheaded decision to put the letter out in the first place. They should have just swallowed their pride and,
Bad PR.
Bad PR. Microsoft has not had good PR for
what kind of cash are they sitting on, though? It couldn't have hurt.
$40 billion. Yeah, I know. It was probably $30,000.
It costs them more to send out the notices than it's worth.
Stop the Verizon AT&T trade now if President Obama's FCC wants to show what it's for change, competition, and the little guy needs to do two things, says a PC Mag opinion piece. Who wrote this one?
That was Sasha.
Stop AT&T from buying the wireless assets Verizon is forced to divest in the Alltel merger. This is kind of inside baseball. Is this interesting?
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Well, you obviously thought it was
AT&T is getting a growing number of critics, especially among users of the iPhone, for the bad service that it delivers and the kind of monopolistic way that it operates and all. So what Sasha's saying here is basically that AT&T does not need to get more powerful and more monopolistic.
Right, so it's anti-consumer. This is not good for the consumers, I don't think.
Yeah.
At least that's part of his point.
Right.
What do you think is going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. Nothing. It's just the way it is. Yahoo headed for a reorg. Yahoo's new CEO, Carol Bartz, is to announce a major reorganization at the firm, says the Register. Bartz rather ominously warned the staff in a weekly email on Friday. Everything that she does, by the way, gets leaked, even though she hates that. I think she may be doing the leaking. She quote, "Get well rested because next week's a biggie." She says biggie, which I think, isn't that some term from the 60s or something, or 70s? Bartz has already asked staff to create, I have used the word biggie.
Yeah, you tell us, John.
You usually use it with no.
She was
no
on
biggie.
She was on
No
a-
biggie. Right. Bartz has already asked the staff to create a list of products they're embarrassed by, so management can decide whether to kill them off or fix them. How about the personals? Have you ever bumped into those personals they have in Yahoo?
No.
It's just
No, but why have you?
Well, I was looking for something once, and I just drilled down, and I ended up in it because it's kind of fascinating. I've never seen so many, with a bunch of A's followed by somebody's name. I mean, just a bunch of spam. It's filled with spam.
Well, she wants to go to a top-down management model, which is what she had in the previous
Yeah.
place she was.
You think that's bad?
Depends if it works,
Since
maybe not.
since Yahoo seems to have no management model, maybe top-down would be something that they can accomplish.
I won't be surprised if she preps Yahoo for a sale, which is what the shareholders wanted a while ago. I wouldn't be surprised to see Microsoft be the
she's close
buyer,
to Ballmer.
be the buyer, and then she's the CEO of Yahoo for hardly any time. It's just a deal that she strikes.
Well, I don't know why she'd be going through any trouble at all. Why don't you just get in the phone and call Ballmer up tomorrow?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, there's word that Ballmer's interested again, but I think it's more in terms of sharing assets or doing some sort of a deal, cross-marketing or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think if they offered him $20 a share, they'd go crazy.
Do you realize what they were offered? $37 a share they were up to.
In
And they turned
hindsight,
down.
it was a mistake to
The
turn it down.
shareholders now are furious. What's Yahoo at? It's at like 11 or 12 or
12,
something?
about 12 bucks.
Yeah.
Time to buy.
Yeah, time for us to buy too. We're going to buy some time. We'll be right back.
Need to save some money on your puppy's prescriptions? Pounce on over to petmeds.com where you can peruse all their pet products. If you use our promo code, you'll get 15% off every purchase and free shipping on orders over $39.
Sick of traveling for meetings? Tired of paying through the nose for gas and airfare? Fed up with never getting enough work done? Then do more and travel less with GoToMeeting, the easy way to hold online meetings. Visit GoToMeeting.com today and try it free.
This segment of Cranky Geeks is brought to you by GoToMeeting, the easiest online meeting service available. Start a meeting in seconds without technical headaches. Hold unlimited meetings for one flat rate. Try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. Visit www.gotomeeting.com/geeks. That's gotomeeting.com/geeks.
Welcome back to the Cranky Geeks. $30,000 worth of Slingbox for one game. This is pretty funny.
This is great. I love this story.
A Slingbox user managed to run up a data bill of $28,067.31 watching a game of football. Despite being aboard a docked cruise liner and having an unlimited data tariff, a Slingbox grabs a video from the user's home, as we know, and streams it over the internet, in this case to a laptop over a cellular connection, which is the mistake he made, which the user thought was connected to AT&T's network, but unfortunately he was actually connected to the ship's onboard network, which racks up bills for international roaming.
So he got this bill for nearly $30,000 for watching one football game.
But he was docked in Miami, and this is, femtocells essentially are what you can put inside your house, a little microcell tower.
Right.
And even the ones you buy for your home have GPS receivers because they don't want you taking this femtocell to Europe, plugging it into the internet, and using that receiver to use your iPhone for 3G data when you're anywhere in the world. So the ships have this same technology. When the ship comes into port, the GPS turns off that local cellular tower network, which is satellite fed from the boat, which explains the expense. So the boat should not have been beaconing its cellular tower. Now the guy's data card was in the laptop, and there's a little client software that you run that connects to the mobile network. Well, a lot of times in the software you don't see the network name, and AT&T was sending him text messages warning him, but there's no text account on a data card. So it's fail upon fail upon fail with this.
The ship's networks should have sent him messages saying, that's the first quarter of the game, you owe us $12,000. Messages like that.
But I think this is a complete technological breakdown on so many levels, whether the clients need to be upgraded or the GPS turning off the cell tower within the boat, etc.
It's interesting because, I don't know how it's going to get resolved, but I'm sure the guy's not going to pay $30,000.
They waived it already.
Well,
Did
they cleared it, but it took, AT&T cut it from $27,000 to $6,000. Oh, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Nice work on that. But it took the local newspaper in Chicago to call AT&T, and they got it down to $290, and his normal bill is $220. So he just paid a little bit of, remember interconnect fees? Remember those?
Yeah.
An extra cent a minute. Maybe he just paid the interconnects on that.
What's funny with this guy is the bill they're charging him is probably about 10 times the cost of his cruise.
Or at least 3 times the cost. So did anybody here use Slingbox at all?
I used to work there, so
That's
yeah,
right, you used to
I've
be.
got a handful of them, yeah.
Do you have them? Do you have some? Because I have we have a little club of people. I got a guy in Australia,
nice.
which is cool during the fires. I got a guy in Detroit. I got a guy in Hawaii.
Yep.
And so you get to see these.
You've got a mesh network of pirated video. That's great.
It's kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it pirated, but
Shared. What did I say?
Shared.
Peer to peer.
Yeah, shared.
That's good.
So do you have a little?
Yeah, with
network
my family, my brother, my father, and in the past, my dad would try and burn a DVD off the TiVo, which was very clumsy. And now he just says, "I've got a show on my TiVo you should watch," and then I'll tap into it that way, or that works pretty well.
It's pretty cool. But what's cool about it, so I'm coming back from Seattle, and you go to the airport, and now most of the Seattle airports got free Wi-Fi, and not all of it, but most of it. And so you open up, and then you hook on. You keep one of those clients, a Slingbox client, and then you say, "Well, let's see what's going on in Hong Kong," and you start watching television on your laptop with this. Looks like you're watching television.
Yeah.
So what's cool is Sling.com now. You can connect to your Slingbox via the web. And they did some license agreements with other content providers. So you don't even need a Slingbox anymore to use some of the basic features. But if you have one, it integrates really well within this browser. So take a look at that, Sling.com.
I guess that part of computing doesn't suck.
No.
That's the magic.
It's probably Ulanov. To be honest about it, I don't even know that he uses a computer.
I think he uses a computer.
I really don't think Ulanov
Voice
uses a
recognition?
computer. You'll see. If you go to his office, he's got no computer in there. He uses an abacus.
He uses a computer.
Like Dvorak, he didn't use a computer. Not Dvorak, Lauterbach, the other one. Lauterbach had the 3coms, what were those all over his office? The Audrey.
Yeah.
He had Audreys everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought he had a little mesh network of computing
Audreys.
power there.
Okay, is Windows 7 ready for prime time after Microsoft's recent confirmation that there won't be a second big beta release of Windows 7? Many people now believe it's ready.
Yeah. There are actually
Does anybody believe this?
No, there are a lot of people.
They are going to load it up with security crap. The thing will never run.
There are a lot of people running this at PC Mag right now. I was talking to Jeremy Kaplan, executive editor, yesterday, and he has it running on a whole bunch of machines. He said it's smooth, it's good, it solves so many problems that Vista has. He predicts it'll be out, like before the summer.
They have to put the security stuff in it. That's the problem.
Well, they had to.
They load it up with all these security fixes at the very end, and so if you're running this beta that's clean as a whistle, yeah, it's great. But then they start loading and loading and loading and loading these patches, and the thing that turns into the pig.
I think a lot of that stuff is already in there because they went through so much with Vista solving those security problems that they've got it.
It is a tight build. I mean, Windows 7, the one I'm using, is fairly solid.
Yeah,
it's nice. Good
it won't
driver
be the
support.
Yeah,
I've got 3 boxes running it. Even my latest Mac. I just wrote this story for PCMagazine.com about multimedia on the platform and what kind of codecs it supports. It has DivX built in. It has even the high def codecs built into this. So in the past, you used to have to buy codecs even to play DVDs on media or media within the XP. Vista added some more, but Windows 7, I'm very impressed with it. I might actually buy Microsoft stock again, but not for Windows Mobile.
It isn't ready.
I think so.
I think it's close.
I think you're going to all be in for a big surprise. And so we're going to be in for a surprise, too. If we don't take a break, we'll be right back.
Looking for the leading edge in technology? Check out ExtremeTech.com, the latest news in the tech world. Tips and tricks to tweak your rig.
Your system to make sure that you get the best overclocking experience.
Product reviews and lab testing. Ask questions or offer advice in the forums. Everything you need to keep up in tech. Build it, tweak it, know it. ExtremeTech.com.
Looking for a gadget guide?
Freeze.
Log on to Gearlog.com.
Right on.
Gearlog's got tech news and reviews, roller skating robots, iPod toilet paper holders, and hacker-proof passport wallets. Gearlog.com, the gadget log for geeks by geeks.
Can you dig it?
Welcome once again to the Cranky Geeks. Okay, here we go. Hulu no longer on Boxy. Of course, this sounds like some sort of a very geeky topic. But Boxy is an open source media center application that our friend here, Dave Mathews, works on, if he didn't actually invent. Recently, it recently announced that Hulu content will no longer be available on it. Hulu was one of the most popular, some of the most popular content was from Hulu. I'm sorry that whoever wrote this should be shot. According to a Boxy blog post. What happened, Dave?
Well, Hulu was one of the plugins. So Boxy streams not only the content that's on your LAN or on your notebook, any codec, but also goes out to the net. So ABC, CBS, Netflix.
Can anybody get the Boxy account, or is it still in beta?
For Mac and Ubuntu, yes, you can go download the client. But for Windows, it's still in a closed alpha. You can request an invitation to the closed alpha and run it on
We've got a couple
Windows.
people here that want to get
Okay, cool.
invited.
Yeah, you can even Twitter the Boxy account at Boxy, B-O-X-E-E, and get an account that way, or there's some forums set up where you can request it. But anyway, Hulu was hundreds of thousands of streams per week on Boxy. So the Boxy users were phenomenally impressed with the service. And Hulu's movies, television shows, it's a consortium between Fox and NBC. Well, the Hulu guys loved Boxy because now you can finally sit on your couch, use a remote control, and control this interface, which normally took a keyboard and mouse. You can load Hulu in a web browser, but if you hook your laptop up to your flat panel TV, you don't want to sit on the couch with a keyboard and mouse. So I think the content providers of Hulu said, wait a minute. And if you remember the ad on Super Bowl with Alec Baldwin saying Hulu is run by aliens or whatever this was about.
Make your brain into mush.
Turn your brain into mush. The fine print in that ad was you can watch Hulu on a mobile device or a portable device. And I think that Hulu and their licensing was such that it was on a laptop screen. And Boxy brought this laptop to a full 10-foot UI, remote control, more like television. So Boxy loves Hulu. I think the Hulu guys really like Boxy, but for some reason the content owners were a little confused about what was going on.
But there are other...
Why? Wait, stop.
It was because of licensing issues, in my opinion. This is
You don't know, though.
I don't know for sure because I'm an advisor for the company, so I help them out on the West Coast, but all this is going down on the East Coast where all the content deals are made. But this, the whole idea of your media being over the air, competing with satellite, local ads, cable system, I think that Hulu really got ahead of themselves with the Boxy implementation.
So Sebastian, I'm sorry.
So why isn't this happening with other people who carry Hulu's content, though? There are a few of these.
Well, TV.com got shut down as well. So there's been a couple of these takedown requests. And Boxy complied because Boxy's in conversations with Hulu to get this fixed. When it comes down to it, Boxy can be the ultimate Nielsen. We know who recommends content, who is watching what, when people pull out of it. You have to watch the ad, so it's not like a DVR. And companies like CBS, which is also available on Boxy, love what's happening. CBS is even giving Boxy high-definition servers to attach to. So CBS gets it, no doubt. They've bought the CNET group, they bought Last.fm, they've taken TV.com to a whole new level than what CNET had it as. So I think CBS is the one to watch with this conversion from the old world to the new digital IP on-demand age.
Almost reminds me a bit of the music companies and the DRMs initially.
No
where they're
doubt.
getting a little bit scared and backing off.
Right,
almost.
and I was liking this to the days of YouTube, right? 2006, 2007, all the takedown notices, and then NBC and Fox teamed up to build Hulu, really to combat what was going on with YouTube, right? And now you look, Hulu is all over YouTube with little bits, comedy bits that are tagged with the Hulu moniker down below. So it's just, these guys need to figure this out. The old world is...
So you think there's a bunch of stuffy old executives in New York, Manhattan, or wherever that just don't know it, they're clueless. They're afraid of these changes. I mean, they're like, Joe Biden, by the way, wanted to find out the number of the website that they were talking about. This is a story that's just breaking.
Maybe it was the IP address.
IP address.
Yeah, sure, that's what he meant.
Is that Channel 4?
What's the IP address? I like to go directly to that.
But look at the money that the networks are spending on Nielsen and targeted ads. You could take local ads, and the problem is this infrastructure isn't supported by the networks to give targeted regional ads and let the monetization system that works with traditional cable and satellite roll into IPTV services like Boxy. Boxy could know more about your content and be able to direct you to more.
It's one of those holy grails that they've been wanting.
That's right, and here it is.
But they're afraid of it in some ways too.
Yeah, but
well, they don't know what they're looking at.
They need smarter people to look at all the dots that are being connected with a service like Boxy.
So what would it take? Because you did mention this, I realize to me it's a disadvantage. You have to watch ads. So what would it take to integrate a DVR between Boxy client and the TV? And so I could say, okay, I'm going to run the stream into the DVR. Now I'm going to skip these ads because I save, by the way, and you unfortunately don't subscribe to this idea, but you save 20 minutes an hour.
Right. But the Hulu doesn't show as many ads, and there's a nice countdown. So if you do want to get up and go to the kitchen, you know you have 30 seconds to get back. But if you do want to go with a traditional terrestrial or cable or even satellite way to receive your over-the-air broadcast, you can put a high-definition tuner card in your Windows or your Linux machine and either run Microsoft Media Center, which in Windows 7, it's a phenomenal DVR, and also run an Ubuntu project or a Linux project called Myth.
Good old Myth.
Myth is an open source DVR that the Electronic Frontier
Frontier
Foundation. Yeah, those guys. I know Brad Templeton, one of my buddies, chair of that. We went to a Super Bowl party at his house where the networks will love this. We watched the ads in real time, and we watched the Super Bowl game in 2x real time with audio. So while you're fast forwarding, you still get the soundtrack. So I thought that's a right way to watch a football game.
Well, there's one way to watch a football game, and there's one way we can watch our show.
Come on, keep it going.
Good segue.
I dropped the ball on that one. Anyway, that's it for this week's show. I'm John C. Dvorak. You've been watching Cranky Geeks. We'll be back again next week.
Thank you.